Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Absolute insane show. As you guys know, the Lakers have turned into one of the most problematic organizations in the NBA, where now every single year with the Lakers, there's always some drama, right? And it was no different this season, but especially this offseason with some of the decisions that they decided to make in the offseason. One, by hiring rookie head coach JJ Redick to be the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, a player who had never coached at any level, except he talks about basketball on television and on his podcast. So they hired him. Left a lot of people scratching their heads wondering, okay, was this the right hire? Could they have gone out there and gotten someone with a little bit more experience? So they got JJ Redick, and then they went out there and got Bryant James as the 55th overall pick to be selected to the roster. That conjured up some conversations around nepotism and all of that. So the Lakers did that, right? And a lot of people out here have been saying that the Lakers seem very disorganized. You've heard a lot of people in media question who's the one really running that ship, right? Is it Jeannie Buss? Is it the next person? Is it Kurt Rambis? And this, we've always wondered this. You've heard high-level people in sports media say that they don't really know who's the control at the top of the organization. So what happened this morning? I was just doing some research and I came across an absolutely insane story featuring Lakers governor or president or whoever you want to call her, leader, Jeannie Buss. And it was centered on some crazy comments that she had to make about LeBron James in terms of his standing with the all-time greatest players of all time. And this one pretty much floored me. And actually, we got this information from an LA Times article. So let me get into what this article had to say here. It is pretty insane. So it starts off with the headline: Q&A, Jeannie Buss is wowed by wild wrestling, and LeBron James, he might be the greatest of all time. Now I want to go specifically to where she made these comments, because it's pretty incredible. So it basically was a Q&A. So I just want to read here. It says, moving to the Lakers, LeBron James has said that his son, rookie Bronny James, is not allowed to call him dad at work. As someone who has been in a similar situation, did you offer any advice? Buss, I never had that conversation with LeBron or Bronny, but in business situations, I address my father as Dr. Buss. I wanted to keep that boundary clear because that helped us out. We weren't bringing work home to the dinner table. So I think LeBron and Bronny are very prepared for this. And I'm excited just for them to have this opportunity. But Bronny's a good player. I'm excited to see what our new coach, JJ Redick, has in store. It's definitely going to be an interesting season for sure. LeBron, by the way, he played in the Olympics. He might be the greatest of all time. Lakers Nation, we present to you Jeannie Buss. LeBron might be the greatest of all time. I want to point out that this isn't the first time Jeannie Buss has said some crazy stuff. A few months ago, Shaquille O'Neal shared a post on Instagram that was referring to the top 5 most important all-time Lakers, according to Jeannie Buss. Jeannie Buss is all-time 5 most important Lakers. I want to go over her list. Number 1, Kobe Bryant. Number 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 3, LeBron James. Number 4, Magic Johnson. Number 5, Phil Jackson. Do you guys notice anything wrong with that? Do you notice a particular person missing from that list? Do you notice anyone? Have you ever heard of a guy called, just some guy. You ever heard of his name? Jerry West, who recently passed away, God rest his soul. Jerry West. People around the association and around the NBA, in terms of NBA fans, thought that was one of the most disrespectful lists that Jeannie Buss could put out there by publicly omitting Jerry West. So she is known to say a crazy thing or two. she has LeBron as the third most important Laker. I don't understand essentially what she's basing that off of. I can only assume that she is basing that off of some type of monetary value. This is the only conclusion I can draw. It must be something pertaining to some type of monetary impact, because she got one player right in, let's go back to her list. She got one player right in Kobe, obviously. She got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar correct. She got Magic Johnson. Well, that's a no-brainer. You have Phil Jackson, all right. But you have, even if you wanted to include another player, you have Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, for God's sakes, Shaq and Kobe were only the last three-peat that we've seen in the last, going on 30 years? In the last 3 decades. You know, Shaq and Kobe were part of that. Winning 3 championships in a row, going to 4 straight finals. I don't know. Maybe that did something for revenue. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that contributed to some of the value that the Lakers enjoy today in terms of an organization. Who knows? Who knows what those 3 championships did? But for her to omit Jerry West shows you that something is not normal. Something is truly not normal there. In terms of her saying this, that, oh, he's maybe the greatest of all time, and she's basing that off of the Olympics, I personally think that Jeannie Buss is enamored by LeBron. His aura. You saw the video of them on the court side. She was losing her damn mind. She was losing her mind. I think she's a very big fan of his. And I think her fandom is what's informing some of these comments, right? And we've heard people, I think, is it Stephen A. Smith that has said that, you know, her number one priority is to ensure that LeBron James is happy, right? So maybe that seems to be her predisposition. But in terms of the greatest of all time, that means LeBron is better than Kobe Bryant to you? Shannon Sharpe pretty much broke the internet over the last 72 hours by an audio of him having some Yahoo time and hoo-ha fun, and, you know, broke the internet. Everyone talked about it. They did a live that at one point had over 264 concurrent viewers watching it. He used the opportunity to market some whatever the hell he was marketing on there, and various people are kind of giving their take on it, right? Some people thought it was great, you know, anything for the gram. Some people thought, hey, man, it's great. Get your money. Great for the bag. You know, some people like, was this done on purpose? You know, was this intentional? Because throughout the live that he did, he seemed to be trying to express some level of contrition. But in the midst of that, he was also hyping himself up and patting himself on the back for the job that he did. And a lot of us were out here like, what's up with son? Like, what's good with this dude, man? Like, what up with this dude? But it is what it is. Some people push back. Well, why do you care and all of this? I'm like, why do I care? I'm not the one doing roasts and all of that stuff. I'm just reacting to the news. Like, if you ask me why do I care, it's like, why does everybody else care? Right? Why do we all care? You know, why do we all care? Everybody cares because it's a trending story. What do you mean? We're going to talk about it. So just when I thought that story couldn't get even more weird, it took another weird turn again in the past 24 hours. So what happened? I was doing some research this morning, and I came across an article from Awful Announcing, and it had the following headline. It says, Shannon Sharpe is now selling shirts referring to his IG Live sex broadcast. The article then continues on. This week, Shannon Sharpe's news cycle has been truly wild. The ESPN contributor and podcast host lectured Nightcap co-host Chad Johnson on professionalism on Monday over taking a rideshare rather than a car service, then promptly undermined that Wednesday. There, Sharpe broadcasted an audio on his IG Live page with the audio of him having intercourse. Following that, Sharpe's social media team quickly put out a claim on his X/Twitter profile that his account had been hacked, only for him to admit that it was him, indeed him. And it doesn't seem to have worked out too badly for him. Sharpe received largely supportive comments from coworkers, and ESPN isn't expected to punish him. And then the article then continues on. And now, Sharpe and Johnson's Nightcap is selling shirts referencing this. We're going to put this picture up for you guys. And I want to read it from you. It's from Shannon Sharpe's Twitter. It says, That's my Michelle shirts dropped. I told y'all to leave that lady alone, but y'all kept harassing Unc, knowing that man ain't got but one good nerve left. Thanks to Chad. So here we are. Are you happy now? And there you can see the shirts there. That's my Michelle. That's my Michelle. And they're selling these shirts. And he put this post up on his, they put on Nightcap about a day or so ago. And this particular post has 1.2 million views. It's been seen 1.2 million times. That's not the part. What I want to focus on is the reception and what people are saying about this new t-shirt and marketing campaign. Let's get into those comments. I want to go through some of what people are saying. Let's read one comment. One guy says, why the F? And I mean, why the F would anyone, and I mean anyone, want to wear a t-shirt with a quote that another man said during sex to a woman you don't know? Like, I'm struggling to grasp the stupidity and desperation here at who thought this would sell. I want to click on what some of the people said in response to him, and I'm going to go continue back. One person said, I guess I don't know the story. Another person said, you don't want to know it. It's stupid. He said, seriously, what the F is this? So another person said, it's called comedy, but you being from another ethnicity, I wouldn't expect you to understand our culture. Another person said, facts, bruh. This is first class corny Tion. Another person said, oh, it's going to sell. You can guarantee that. Now, I want to go back to what people said to the original post. One person said, very corny. Another person said, gotta love capitalism. Only in America. Stephen A. Smith. Another person said, this is so effing stupid. Another person said, this is getting kind of weird. Another person said, this was clearly planned and ESPN isn't doing anything about it. Another person said, dog, this is crazy work. Another person said, this is insane, Unc. Another person said, nah, delete this, bro. Another person said, everything is a rollout. Another person said, the only thing that could make this situation even better is if Michelle is pregnant. At least the kid will know exactly when they were made. Another person says, where are you supposed to wear these t-shirts at? Another person said, 2024 is weird. I'll read a few more comments. This feels intentional now. And then one more person said, let me just read this one. Brilliant response, too quick. And then one last guy said, Shay, this is a plot. It literally did this as a plot. It ain't really like that, if at all. So those are what people are saying in the on the internet. What are my thoughts on this? So some people are getting on me because I'm not ratchet enough. Some people got upset with me like, yo, you're not ratchet enough, B. I mean, what's wrong with you? You're acting your age. Like, bro, what's wrong with you? You don't know where we at? It's 2024, bro. We got grown-ass men acting like teenagers, bro. What's wrong with you? Like, lighten up. Lighten up. Like, why are you so serious? Like, come on. Like, yeah, I know you're in your 30s. I know I'm leaving this comment. I'm in my 30s. But come on, son. Like, yo, it's jokes. I mean, come on. Like, immaturity is what's up. Like, why are you taking it so seriously? Funny enough, Marcellus Wiley did a show yesterday reacting to Shannon Sharpe kind of scolding Chad Johnson. He did a full-length show on this, about 26-minute show. I suggest you guys go check it out. And I sent him a message. I was like, I said, man, I used to be a huge supporter of Shannon Sharpe, but I'm not feeling something right now. I'm like, I feel like he turning into the Kim Kardashian of sports media. I said, I lost a lot of respect for dude. I said, it looks to me like now anything is for clicks and a bag. And, you know, he said, check out my show and see what I said at the end of that show, which I did. I suggest you guys check it out. He gave some wonderful, wonderful insight. This is an unpopular position because a lot of people are down with the F. You know what? They love the ignorant. They love it. They love it. And when they see somebody else is not down with them, they ask you stupid ass questions like, "Yo, why you care? Why you care? If I was up here twerking it up with you dudes, hollering and screaming, y'all would have been like, yeah, get the bag. All right. Just as long as we all are clear on where we all stand, that some of you dudes are now endorsing do anything for a bag. All of the morals are out the window. People wonder, I've said it on different shows, people wonder why society is so backwards today. And I said I blame the men. I said that. I've been saying that. I blame the men. Why do I blame the men? Because the men are the ones who are supposed to show the way. The older men. But you got the older men acting like idiots and kids. Because they want to be down with the younger generation and the younger kids. So you got grown-ass men acting like kids. Making excuses for the tomfoolery. And then when you have people in their age group call them out, they're like, yo, well, come on, like, why it matter to you so much? This is the problem where society is today. There's no hierarchy. There's nobody leading. Grown-ass men are now following the young boys. And you can see it. The grown-ass men are following the young boys. This is one of the reasons why society is backwards. Any society without a structure and a hierarchy turns into this nonsense. It's what you see. People going to feel like, I don't give a damn. You can twerk. You can rub honey all over your booty and holler and scream and about your excitement about all of this ratchet. You know what is going on. I'm not feeling it. And I'm just going to say, I'm not going to fake it for nobody. I am not a follower like that. I don't just be endorsing any kind of nonsense somebody do just because I like them. I'm not feeling it. I think this is some goofy, you know what, and I think this is getting weird now. But you dudes love it, and you dudes are going to go out there, some of you, and go buy that shirt and walk around all over wherever you at with another dude saying that about a chick in an intimate moment, and you're going to feel pretty proud about yourself. Congratulations. Fantastic, son. I'm one of those creators that's been accused of being, oh, you old school, you an old head, which is crazy. I'm 37 years old now, I'm an old head. What in the world is happening? Times have changed. Because why? I defend the 90s, I defend the 2000s, right? And you got a bunch of kids running up and down the comment section, you know, in their diapers, hollering and screaming, oh, you an old head. Why? Because I was calling out dudes for saying crazy stuff like your man, Anthony Edwards. You know Anthony Edwards, who made headlines recently for basically going up there and just totally embarrassing himself, where he said that I don't know much about this subject, but I'm going to go ahead and speak on it anyway. Jordan was the only one that was skilled in his time. That's why when people saw Kobe, they were like, oh my God, now everybody's skilled. That's your man, Anthony Edwards. And some people felt like someone was saying something, right? They thought like he was saying something, but a lot of creators called him out. Now you had some people out there, NBA player like who, of course, Gilbert Arenas, I may send him this show, who of course defended. Of course he did defended it. He was like the only one, right? The only one. And of course, the rest of them are LeBron fans. I'm telling you, the reason these guys are supporting players that say this type of nonsense is because they want to elevate this era to be like, you see, LeBron's playing against Black Myth Wukong and all of these dudes today. Meanwhile, Jordan was there playing against Super Mario and all these people. So LeBron, that's the whole game we see through it. That's where we got the old done with the 90s and all of that. But there's one thing that seems to be a lot of these guys have been trying to say, which is only the old heads be defending this. Not only the old heads be defending. So what happened? Going through the internet, and I come across a segment from Paul George's podcast featuring his guest, DeMar DeRozan, who's a current NBA player, right? And they're addressing Anthony Edwards' ignorant-ass comments. And the moderator essentially asked DeMar DeRozan to weigh in on it. And DeMar DeRozan absolutely flamed Anthony Edwards for his flagrant idiocy and disrespect towards MJ's era, and basically making himself look like a complete bozo. So what I want to do now is I want to play exactly what they had to say now, and I'm going to come back and react to their comments. Take a listen to them here.
Do you think because these young guys are getting more money that they're less receptive to some criticism? I know you guys have said you worked with some good younger players and they've been asking you questions, but have you noticed a change in that with maybe other guys you've kind of seen throughout the league where you can't tell him nothing because he just signed for, you got 20 million or 30 million?
Yeah, you know, my problem, this is me speaking for me. You know what my problem is? Like all these guys that have an entitlement when it comes to certain you couldn't name, you wouldn't know who Horace Grant was. The knowledge of the game ain't there. And to me, that's what bothers me more so than anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I first came in the league, I could name every 90s team. I can name everybody who won the championship in the 90s, in the 80s. I can name, you know what I mean? I can name like...
Name me all the names of the champions in the 90s. Man, I might not even know all the names. I know who Horace Grant is.
But you get my point, though.
Yeah. So with that being said, obviously, Anthony Edwards comes with the controversial statement about nobody was skilled other than Jordan back in the day. What's your takes on that?
My take is like, listen, Ant is one of my favorite players to watch.
Mine too.
By far. But even something like that, we never would have made no statement like that.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because regardless, at the end of the day, I respect every OG who ever played this game. This game was built on a foundation of taking steps of wherever it came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I never discredit wherever the league was at 20 years ago because it's all about, you know, elevating, you know, and granted, I only read the headlines of what he said. I don't know what context further he went into to further explain it. But if you look at it back then, it was, those guys still was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like they still was. Like you look at a guy like Ron Strickland. He wasn't skilled.
Right.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like you can't tell me it wasn't no skillful guys around just because at the time you have such a phenom of a athletic freak in Michael Jordan. Don't discredit everybody else.
Right.
We had one of the best bigs that ever played this game, Hakeem Olajuwon, playing the 90s. That was
most skilled.
He had
big.
The most skilled big I done seen play in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, win back-to-back championships, MVPs, defensive players. Like it's so many of those. You look at it, even Scottie Pippen. Like if you see a Scottie Pippen like that today, you would think he a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Guys
you know
like Brent
what I mean?
Berry jumping from the free throw line.
It's
My gosh, I don't see that today.
But it's like, my thing is like, I was trying to understand where he was coming from, but I know from my point of view, I will never discredit or undermine anybody who came before me because regardless, like I watched Alex English play. He wasn't athletic, like he wasn't this, but I used to always watch his tape on him on how he got buckets, how he scored. Whether if it was simple or not, it was a skill that he had that he mastered. You know what I mean? You look at George Gervin, you don't see nobody shooting no finger rolls like him.
Right.
That's a skill that you cannot teach. And I feel like everybody had their own skill just because it wasn't to a Michael Jordan level. Don't discredit it. That's my only take to it.
We had my pops on last episode, and so this was the conversation we had. And my viewpoint, and not to put words in his mouth or not to try to explain what he was trying to say, I took it as he was just trying to relate MJ to how we move in today's game. You know what I mean? Like us being athletic and high flying and athletic maneuvering, acrobatic in the air. That's what I was hoping he was referring to without being able to explain everything that he meant to say about that situation. So hopefully I'm helping him in that.
Listen. We all got an opinion
because it was a bad take.
Yeah, I get it, but
so you heard what they had to say. What are you gonna say now? Is it now the old heads? Oh, the old heads is hating on me. The old heads. Oh, was that the old heads? These are current NBA dudes, all stars, saying it like, yo, son, you're an idiot. Number one, DeMar DeRozan said he can't stand players that are not students of the game. It is quite clear that Anthony Edwards is not a student of the game. It's the only reason you would say something ignorant. As a matter of fact, the only people that will support Anthony Edwards are people that know nothing about basketball history or people that are trying to troll and act like they don't know, but they know. Because you got to be a flagrant moron to go out there and say something like that. And some people thought like, yo, son, he was saying nothing. He was saying nothing. You heard him bring up Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem is more skilled than anybody in the NBA today. Forget what you heard. Hakeem Olajuwon is more skilled than any basketball player today. If you put Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and these dudes in the NBA today, they smoking these cats. They just are. You heard DeMar DeRozan quoting players like Alex English, George Gervin. It's called knowing your history. Who else knew that players from the past were really good? Kobe Bryant. So Kobe, this is the problem. This is the problem, and this is the reason why we got to call out this ignorant nonsense. But what makes me happy is that it's a current NBA player, because the kids in the comment section wearing diapers, pooing all over themselves because they pour too much honey all over each other. They like to say, oh, no, it's an old head. So what you going to say now? Let me guess. Paul George and them is old heads too. So they'll look for anybody to co-sign their ignorance. Anybody to co-sign their ignorance. And if you don't, you an old head. So Gilbert Arenas agrees with you guys. He's an old head too. He older than all of these dudes. So I thought he was also has nothing to do with being an old head. It's just that y'all looking for people to agree with this nonsense. Do you realize everybody flamed Anthony Edwards? So that tells you something. So if you were somebody that was subscribing to that nonsense, it means that your knowledge about basketball is quite flawed, and maybe you need to take a seat and let the people that know a little bit about basketball talk, and you need to go sit down. I have not heard anybody worth their salt endorse those ignorant comments.